Hi, I'm Nancy, the Kentucky Garden Gal. I'm coming to you from South Central Kentucky. We are a Zone 7. I live in an 1880 Vote Victorian where I have been gardening for the last 27 years. My grandmother taught me the love of gardening. It's my passion and I want to share that with you. I have my small city lot absolutely packed full. Backyard chickens, trees, shrubs, perennials, a koi pond, even a secret garden. So let's get started on this week's vlog. Hello everyone, this is Nancy, the Kentucky Garden Gal, and welcome back to my channel. And I want to thank everyone who has subscribed. I got up this morning and checked and we have 200 subscribers, and that is a really great accomplishment. And I just want each and every one of you to know that I'm so happy that you're on my channel, and hopefully I'm encouraging you to grow things. So today we're going to be talking about growing containers and herbs. I have 6 herbs that I want to talk about. The first one is lavender. And as you can see, there's a bumblebee right there on the lavender. And you will also notice that I have this lavender planted in a concrete raised bed, and this is actually 3 plants. There was one put right in the corner, and then I skipped a cinder block, put in another, and then another. And this is, I believe, the 2nd year for this lavender. And I'll put the video that I made when I planted this lavender down below in the comments, because I've had a lot of people ask me on that video, hey, how's that lavender doing? Did that work? And as you can see, it worked really, really well. Lavender is a perennial that requires full sun. It needs to be well drained, and I actually put sand in my soil. I think that's the secret to this doing so well, is I used about 50% of good rich soil with sand. And not only is the lavender beautiful, of course I'll cut the stems and dry those, but it also attracts butterflies, and as you see, the bee that's been flying around, and other pollinators to your garden. The next 2 herbs that I want to introduce you to is fennel and sage. Let's talk about the sage first. The sage requires pinching and pruning to prevent it from becoming too woody. Sage is a perennial, but you may have to replant it every 3 years or so. And this is great. I always use this sage when I'm making my dressing for Thanksgiving. And right behind it in the same container is fennel. Fennel and sage both require full sun. It does have a temperamental taproot, which you may need to also stake this plant. Fennel is also a host plant for the black butterfly swallowtail. And you can see this is one of those water barrels that's been cut in 2. So you can just make anything a raised bed as long as it has good drainage and good soil. The next herb that I want to talk about is oregano. And as you can see, I have a row of tubs here in front of a flower bed, and I grow a mixture of herbs and flowers. If it's an invasive plant such as this bellflower, which has just finished blooming, I will put it in these containers, and I actually picked these up many years ago at Walmart. I think they were about $6 a piece. This is Black-Eyed Susan's in that one. But these have been here for years. They are basically no maintenance or low maintenance, and anybody who's wanting to grow herbs, this has been my most successful way to grow herbs, is in these black containers right here. But let's get back to the oregano. The oregano needs full sun to part shade, and we do have to trim it to keep it from getting so leggy, which it needs to be trimmed right now. But this is great to use in Italian food. Right next to it, one over, is chives. And chives need full sun. They like fertile soil, loomy soil, and a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. They are drought resistant once they are established. And of course, the chive, you cut it and it tastes like onion when you want to cook with it. And the last herb that we're going to talk about today is the tansy. And I do not grow this to eat because it can be toxic, so I definitely don't recommend that you ingest this. Definitely anyone who's pregnant. I know tea can be made from it, but I actually grow it for the honeybees and the ladybugs. The ladybugs will often seek this out to lay their eggs on. It is a perennial, and it's easy to grow. Once you get it established, it can actually be pretty invasive. So I want to encourage everyone to start your herb garden, and it's just as easy as buying a container and filling it with good rich soil. You can plant herbs in the same container as long as they share the same sun, water, and soil preference. Hope everyone has enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Before I say goodbye, I do want to show you one of my favorite ways to use my herbs. And I just trimmed the oregano. It did need to be trimmed. It was getting a little leggy. So when I trim it, I bring it into the chicken coop and I put it in the nesting boxes, and the chickens just love it. And while we're in the chicken coop, let's get an update on the silkies. For those of you who have been following the silkies that I bought back in February, let's go check on them and see how they're doing. I'm sad to report that when I brought the silkies and introduced them to the flock did not accept them. And I did it correctly. I brought the silkies in at night after the chickens had gone to sleep, so when they wake up in the morning, they're in the coop, so they normally would accept them. That did not happen in this case, and they sort of stayed away from each other for about 2 days, and then on the third day, one of the chickens attacked the little white silky that's right back there, and they actually drew blood. So when that happened, I realized that we had a problem, and I have temporarily put a dog crate in to keep the little silkies separate until I make a coop for them. But from what I'm hearing from my other chicken friends, it's really hard to keep silkies and your regular girls together. If anybody has any advice, I would sure love to hear it, because it would be nice if they could all be in the same coop together. But unfortunately, at this time, the little silkies are in a large dog crate in the coop. You girls have to be nicer. You ladies have to be nicer. Yes, you do.